It's all about having the key insights, following the leaders of the crypto industry and background stories on blockchain technology trends to keep you one step ahead. Monty Metzger, CEO of LCX.com, keeps you up to speed with what's moving global crypto markets and gives you the latest insights about LCX's platform and ecosystem. This is LCX Insights Live.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is LCX Insights Live. I'd like to welcome you to a very, very special Sunday evening show here. It's June 20, 2021. In our live video shows, I'm engaging with the world's top blockchain projects, entrepreneurs, investors, and pioneers in crypto and blockchain in honest conversation meant to challenge traditional ways of thinking. My name is Monty Metzger, and I'm founder and CEO at LCX.com. LCX is a regulated fintech company that focuses on digital asset trading, compliant token offerings, and tokenization. LCX has recently received 8 blockchain-related approvals by the Liechtenstein regulator, more than any other company in the country. And Liechtenstein, as you might know, is a country, small country, 6th smallest country in the world, next to Switzerland and Austria in the middle of Europe. Liechtenstein is known to be a financial powerhouse and has received a AAA rating by the Standard & Poor's rating system for countries. So that's the highest rating you can get. Liechtenstein has introduced the most forward-thinking legal framework for cryptocurrencies and blockchain companies, providing legal clarity and security for our users. So today's show title is How Can Wallets Enable the Mass Adoption of Cryptocurrencies? And I cannot imagine anybody else talking about this. So our today's guest is the CEO of ZenGo, a new generation of all-in-one crypto wallet focused on simplicity and safety. And I would add on usability and functionality as well. He is former executive of ICQ, AOL, and founder of TechCrunch France, which has been sold to IOL as well, and Easy.fr, French VC, and was general manager of the internet lab of Gemini and Lightspeed Ventures. I know him back from the times when he'd been living in Silicon Valley, but he's now back in Tel Aviv. So he's French and Israeli and now living back in the tech hub #1, I would say almost, in Tel Aviv. So please welcome Mr. Ouriel Ohayon. Where is he? Hello, Ouriel. Hello.
Ohayon. Hey there, how are you?
Very well. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So our audience is thrilled and excited to have you here, and I am as well. And let's dive right in. Can you explain what is ZenGo, what do you do, and what do you offer?
First, thanks for having me. It's great to be talking here. Here it's Sunday. It's the first day of the week in Israel. We start the week on Sunday, so I just wish that we started it on a Monday, because like that we would have had on the 21st of 2021, and it would be 221. Anyway, great to be here. ZenGo is a crypto wallet. Crypto wallet is a program. Sometimes it's a hardware, but in our case, it's a mobile application that you download on your phone. It enables you to get started from nothing to crypto in a few seconds, and from there you can invest in cryptocurrencies. You can send, receive, buy, sell, trade, earn interest. Very soon you can have a credit card, so you can pay with it, and it's all in non-custodial. So you're always on chain and always in control. And we've made it particularly easy. We took a very orthogonal way to the direction of the market by applying a new way of doing private key management, and we may talk about that. And we've been out there for 2 years. That's it. That's what we do.
Excellent. So can you point out what are the key USPs? Like, is it another wallet, or like what's really different here?
Yeah, well, all wallets serve the same purpose. They enable people, a wallet has always been about how to safe keep your funds, from the historical purse where you had your gold coins to the little leather wallet where you keep your bills and your whatever safe documents. And in crypto, it's not different. It's something that is meant to keep your assets safe. But it's more than that, because with digital, you can have also all the financial services plugged into it. So it can become useful and you can use it. So we built a wallet so that people could actually use it, and it's built around usability. And we put an enormous focus on that, which has been historically a problem for that industry, where products have been considered for security first or for technicalities first. And we didn't want to compromise on usability. So we've built a wallet that is very simple for anyone from children to grandmother to get into crypto without any burden. So the things that make it really outstanding are really three pillars. It's a revolutionary sign-up system where you have absolutely no passwords to remember ever, nothing to write down, nothing to jot down. It's really, really simple to get in. Number two, cryptographic system and security behind it, where there is no private key involved, ever. Not at the moment of the generation, not at the moment of the signature. And it sounds like it's impossible because the market has been educated for 10 plus years. No coins, no private key, no, not your keys, not your coins.
Yeah.
But we made it happen. And so there is no single point of failure, meaning that this wallet can be used only by you, because we're using live biometrics on top of it. And so it makes that this wallet is only yours and no one else. And number three, beyond all the integration of the financial services that you can find anywhere else, it's great user experience. You feel it from the first second, and it comes from the design, the flow, the simplicity, the language, and the outstanding customer experience that we provide. We're able to, and you can try in live right now, you write a question from anywhere in the world, any time of the day, 360 days a year, we get an answer in 2 minutes from a human being, which is a big commitment. So that's really about making things easy for people, safe for people.
Okay, yeah. So that sounds like an important factor. And I remember when I also signed up, I was surprised about the simplicity and the ease of use. So really, you know, when we look at most of the current apps and applications and any like wallets out there, they're so complex. So I'm like skeptical that we can reach any mass adoption with these kind of apps. But when I saw ZenGo, I was positively surprised. And I know also, giving your background about mobile development, everything, it might be a good match that you are now in that space. But can you tell us more about this sign-up process and the kind of lack of passwords? So how do you make sure that the app is secure, and how did you set up the technology in the back end?
Yeah, so traditionally, crypto wallets require you to go through a process of safekeeping a private key, which is usually either a very intimidating strings of characters and code, which on the mobile phone is very problematic because you just have a small screen with you, and or a set of 12 or 24 words, and those are impossible to memorize, and you are often asked to write them again. So you have to basically make a screenshot, which is like the worst thing that you can do in security, and you have to bounce between the photo app and the app to go through the process. And then after that, you have to keep it somewhere safe, and no one is explaining you what is somewhere safe. You have to find out by yourself what is the safe place that everyone's talking about, but no one dares to say. Basically, this is not done, not just for anyone, even for experts. Experts make mistakes. Experts have even lost funds or compromised their own security many times. It has happened to me, and I'm not rather savvy in technology. So what we started from a completely blank page, and instead of using typical public-private key cryptography, where you have a public key and a private key, we use multi-party computation, which is now starting to become a de facto standard. At the time when we started, it was really forward-looking. And what it does is basically distributing the security between multiple parties that don't need to know each other. And what we have built is a system where the server of ZenGo, without being a liability to the wallet, can assist you in the sign-up process. So there is no generation of private key. And what it does instead, it will authenticate you through 3 factors that you and only you control: your email and the magic link. the cloud service that you're using and the device biometrics that you have on your phone, and the liveness scan of your face, so that only you alive can go through the sign-up process and the recovery process, not even us. So the steps are very, very fast. You put an email, you prove it with a magic link, you grant permission to your cloud that you have access to, and then you face scan your face with a biometric scan, which is extremely accurate, and you're in. And when you recover, it's the same thing, meaning that even if you lose your email or whatever, no one can get into your account, and you have fallbacks for your email, you have a fallback for your cloud, and you can add a trusted second phase. So the probability that you will lose your account or your funds is extremely, extremely low, and the probability to get hacked is even lower. So it's a really safe environment.
So, and this is based on the Face ID or face recognition software?
No, we don't use Face ID, because Face ID is based only on is Apple specific. So it wouldn't work if you had to go through an Android device, for example. You would be stuck, right? No one would recognize you. Or even if you set up a new iPhone, the new phone doesn't know your face, and there's no way to port it. So you would be stuck even to recover your iPhone. We're using a server-based live biometric system, which has been battle tested on tens and tens of millions of faces and has never been hacked today, and is extremely accurate. It doesn't work with pictures, doesn't work with videos, it doesn't work with 3D masks. It works only if your face is alive, only if it's you.
Okay, great. Yeah, interesting approach, and I think very important to really reach out. Ouriel, in terms of the company, when did you found it? What's the status of the company? How many employees? What's kind of the stage of funding and everything? Can you give us an update there?
Yeah, we came to the space pretty late, after nearly everyone, after the World War I, we would say. We started about 3 years ago, when it was just a project. We worked on the tech for a year. When we realized we could build a technology out of it, a product out of it, sorry, we decided to create a company. So the inception point was really 2+ years ago, seed round with a bunch of VCs, investors, Benson Oak, Samsung, Elron, and a few others. And we launched a year later, after we were ready with the product, with the app, which at the time was extremely simple, was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that's it, and sending and receiving. And we had a very, very great first year, like very strong traction. Quickly, hundreds of thousands of customers signed up to the system. Hundreds of millions of transactions already done through the wallet. And recently, about a month plus ago, we announced that we closed a Series A with Insight Partners, which is one of the most prestigious growth equity fund in the US, backed Twitter, Shopify, Calm, and other great B2C digital brands. And that's it, with 25 employees plus 5 in customer support. And we're going to grow this year to a much larger number. We're building up the team right now, based essentially in Tel Aviv. We have some team members spread out around the world for customer operation. And we have users all around the world, because ZenGo is non-custodial, so we don't have a particular geography where we're strong. We have users from South America to South Korea, from El Salvador to wherever you want, except in China, where there is a bit of restrictions there. And so 160 plus countries. We service their buying, selling, earning interest, swapping tokens, and soon we launch in the US payment card with Visa.
And so why do you think you will succeed with that? I think the wallet business is very tough. There's like plenty of wallets out there now. Facebook is developing their own solution. Then DM Foundation, everything might drop into that. And then there's some exchanges who have bought wallets or built their own wallets. Ouriel, I know you. I think we first met in 2006 at Le Web in Paris. I don't know what's 2006 or 7 or something, but probably roughly 15 years ago. So I know your journey as an entrepreneur. What are the key experiences from your past which are important now for ZenGo?
Well, first, I have more white hair and I'm more patient. And so developed a certain resistance to pain and to tough moments. For example, right now, for a few weeks now, we're in a crash market, a bear market, right? Particular today, and we are particular. I am in particularly zen about it. I mean, ZenGo, that's why the name also. We've learned, and I've learned from my past, that revolution in industries take multiple cycles of ups and downs to go through. So this is extremely helpful. Obviously, my past in non-crypto space, which I'm a noob, I'm still learning, is very helpful because I try to see the space with a new set of eyes, and the team is also built that way. So we don't try to think in the same way that the rest of the industry is thinking. And the reason it matters is because the rest of the world is completely ignorant to those rules and to the gibberish we're talking all day long. And so they need people that kind of can bridge with that world. And so this is very important. And so past experience outside of the space is super useful. In particular, the knowledge of the mobile app space, which I've been accustomed to for over a decade. And in the team, we have a good mix of deep cryptography expertise, in particular in multi-party computation. We are one of the most, if not the most advanced company in the world, and consumer product marketing to build really crisp experiences. We focus exclusively and only on building a wallet. Many companies do wallet and other things. We want to win that space. We want to be the absolute best reference in that space. We are extremely patient, and we're taking our time to do something that is we consider is of a good service to our customers. The space is indeed saturated, but I think it's saturated with products that will not go all the way because it's really tough to crack a large adoption with complex products. It's really an issue, and we already see that today. That said, you do also have large players and good players, and the space will be very large, and there will be multiple large wallets that will be out there. We are betting on non-custodial. We think non-custodial will be vastly superior and more efficient than custodial systems. So we took that radical bet, and we want to stick to it. And that's it. You know, dedication, care, and just focus on building a good product and be patient. I think all those are good ingredients. Now, is that enough? No one really knows. This market is full of uncertainties, market uncertainties, regulatory uncertainties. The timing seemed okay about a year ago, but now no one is so sure anymore. And Elon Musk has changed his direction, and no one really knows. But directionally, we are still bullish about the space, and we believe that it will be widely adopted everywhere by anyone from kids to grandmothers. And so we want to be there when the market is here.
Okay, yeah. And then I also noticed your like general approach on how you fund the company, how you build it. I mean, as far as I know, you only went the equity way, equity funding, traditional ways of funding. So there's no token. And but I see a token is a great marketing instrument to engage with the community. Have you ever thought about that, or what's the status there? And how, like, if you don't have a token, how do you want to engage with your audience?
Yeah, we carefully thought about it from day one. At the time, it was the period of the ICOs. It was easy, quick money, non-dilutive. So that would have been a perfect path, but everyone has measured the boomerang effect of doing an ICO at the time, and we took the right choice. The choice was actually very simple to use. We build only one product. We build a wallet. If we had a token, our attention would have been on the token, and that means to the detriment of the product. The product is the product, not the customer, not the token, not the dynamic of the market. We care only about one thing: is building an outstanding product and servicing our customers the best way we can with a great product. If we have a token, our attention will be on the market dynamics, on the liquidity, on the exchanges, on the listings, on the crashes. We don't want that. We know that it would be a fantastic, probably shortcut to get first a bigger valuation and access to a lot of engagement with the community. But we don't want to take that shortcut. We prefer to suffer a little more by being diluted, but really focusing on the mission that we have, which is to build an outstanding product. And we cannot do that really well if we have a token. So that's the choice that we've made. Doesn't mean that we will not have a token in the future. Maybe if we find an outstanding use case for it, and then the company has reached a certain size, maybe we would consider it. But right now, it's out of the question.
Okay, but then what are the key revenue models you're currently having or you're planning to have?
So the revenue model is very simple to explain. You just watch the app for 2 seconds and you should be able to get it. Anytime you make the app is free, sending and receiving is non-custodial, so there's no money to make on it. But anytime you make an investment through the app, whether you buy, whether you sell, whether you put your money into an interest account, or whether you are swapping tokens to tokens, there is a visible fee that is there. And this is where we are currently making our money. When we will have our payment card, there will be an additional revenue stream derived from the payment card itself. We are, in a sense, a sort of banking system for non-custodial crypto. It's very typical model where there is a fee when you create or capture value. And so we are here with you. There will be other revenue streams in the future. We are already generating substantial revenues for the company. We don't need a token for that. If we needed one, we would have made it, but we don't feel we need it to be as efficient. And so far, so good.
And now, probably let me rephrase it. There's this quote from Bill Gates saying, banking is needed, but banks are not. And we are now talking about how can wallets enable the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. So how can wallets enable mass adoption, and will you replace banks in the future?
I think they will. I think non-custodial wallets will replace completely the infrastructure of retail fintech. It will take a lot of time for it to happen, and I'm not sure wallets alone will enable that. It will be a conjunction of factors, but users will need a remote control to control their valuable assets, whether those are coins, token, digital equivalent of dollars or euros, their digital valuables like documents, their NFTs, their whatever. They will need remote controls, and they will need a simple remote control, and there will be one remote control for all their assets, because there is no way they're going to download 40 wallets. So there will be the point of entrance for any potential investor, meaning a lot of people, anyone who wants something, basically. Right now, the use case of a wallet is very narrow. It's to own cryptocurrencies, essentially for speculation. Right? Let's call a cat a cat. That's the market. But I think the reason it's going to expand is very simple. Is the banking system has shown its limits. We've seen it accelerating with the COVID crisis, but the banking model costs way too much, is highly inefficient. Most people hate their banks. They don't like them. They don't want to deal with them. They don't want to hear about them. They don't want to go to a branch. And if you look at the young generation, it's even more. They want something that is digitally native. And the reason why it will be non-custodial first versus custodial is because the power has to be in the hands of the user, not in the hands of a central entity. And so that has to happen, and it's starting to happen. We start to see the flows coming from custodial system to non-custodial systems. And the more the technology progresses, the more it's going to be convenient to use non-custodial systems. There are way more advantages and benefits to do it that way than to do it the old way. So you are in control. You decide when things happen. You decide what fees you're going to pay. You decide how to recover and when to recover. However, no one wants to feel alone. No one wants to feel that they are with themselves if something bad can happen. And so they need also this kind of assistance without being dependent entirely on a bank. So they do need banking, but without the banks to join your quote. And so I think it's just a reality, and it will play in a generation. But for now, we just want to be a very good crypto wallet for cryptocurrencies.
Okay. And now you mentioned the debit card. I think you announced that in November 2020. Now, like half a year later, what's the status on the debit card?
So first, we've been very naive about this project. I have to admit, we thought that it would take way less time to do it, and we pre-announced some timing without really being too optimistic about it. It will see the light of the day this year. We hope at the end of the year in Q4. The good news is making fantastic progress. We are right now in the making of the card itself and the card program. And the reason we've been naive is we have underestimated the level of complexity. And by the way, talking about banking, of the banking world, it's incredible how complex the pipes that plugs together to power a card are. And there's a reason why crypto is crypto. Yeah. To simplify all those pipes. So we've done like enormous progress in terms of approval, regulation, compliance, program management, design, bank approval, etc. And so things are getting plugged right now as we speak. And we are hopeful that the card will see the light of the day at the end of the year in Q4. It will launch in the US. It will be a prepaid debit card. There will be a cashback program associated with. This is an exclusive. We haven't seen it before. Very attractive cashback program. You will be able to have your card nearly instantly on your phone without receiving it physically, and you will be able to spend it anywhere where Visa is accepted.
Okay, but you'll start with US first.
Yes, absolutely. Start with US first, but as you can imagine, we won't stop there.
Okay, understood. Yeah, and then if you like anybody who had been traveling to Asia or used any of these Alipay or WeChat payment systems knows that the QR code is a key element. Have you implemented something like that as well? Like, do you like in a retail store scan the code and pay, or anything for the retailers to really get adoption, so that you go in a store and says ZenGo accepted or something like that?
Yeah, so we're not going to reveal our marketing plan. I mean, paying with a QR code in the US is still not a thing. I'm talking in retail shops. People use QR code all the time, but in retail shops, if you've been in the US recently, it's still the good old way. I mean, at the best, you're going to use Google Pay, and this you don't have to scan anything. You just put your watch or your phone on the dingus, and it pays. So it's even faster. We do have QR code reader for crypto on the app, but not for retailer.
And then what also sparked my eye is that there had been your tweets about this QR code issues which Coinbase had been facing and security threats. Can you tell us the full background and the story here?
Oh, you make me jump back in my memories. I forgot about that one. So a QR code seems like simple. It's just like kind of this pixelized picture, and you scan it and you go somewhere and you can pay someone, or you can basically represent anything that is digital with a QR code. And for crypto addresses, you have different, can I say, format or standards of QR code representation. And if you're using the wrong one, you might be stuck into sending, or you might even end up sending to the wrong address, which is an issue if you're not using the same standard as the QR code reader itself. So we discovered that some apps were actually falling into that pitfall. We actually wrote a blog post about it. It was widely published after in other publications, and happily we're not into that category. We try to do things very slowly, but when we do them, we try to do them right by the user in terms of user experience, but also in terms of security. The reality is that users should be extremely careful, and about your question about mainstream adoption, this is why we are far from ready. But the user still at this stage, even in 2021, still has to be extremely careful about what he's doing. When he's signing up, when he's making transaction, you always have to double check, triple check. And the reason is because once you send the crypto, there is no button to call it back, at least until this week. Teasing.
Okay.
But once you've made a mistake, it's game over, and so you have to verify all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Understood. But I think it was interesting that you pointed out got some traction around it also, and it again like undermines or like shows the knowledge you also have in your team, and also Israel is known to be a cybersecurity hub. I think that's very kind of a clear fact that you might have some of very good developers there in the team as well. I also wanted to speak about what kind of tokens do you accept on the platform? What's the current status there? Do you? I think at the beginning you only had a limited number of tokens. What's the status now?
Yeah, so the good news is that our technology is agnostic, and we, ZenGo, as a company and our culture, we are not religious. We are going to support any token that makes sense based on the market dynamics, as long as there is no regulatory risk and safety risks, and as long as there is business sense. So we're not into the dogma of a maximalism or a choice. Our technology enables us to be agnostic to all of that. So right now we're supporting about 75 assets and tokens and blockchains. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Chain, Tezos, Terra, a bunch of ERC20. We're supporting you. We're launching this week the support for Dogecoin, which has been a big demand, but also a strong technical challenge. And we're looking in all sorts of new blockchains. There are very exciting projects out there that we are looking into very seriously. There is Flow with NFTs and all the NFT craze. There is BitClout, which we are extremely excited by, which is a new generation of social network, decentralized, owned by users, where every user has its own coin, and more. And so we're going to add a lot more assets, a lot more coins. We're looking into Cardano, we're looking into Litecoin, and many other chains that we have not supported. And so we plan to support many coins and assets. We plan also to support at some point NFTs and all sorts of non-financial assets. But we will do that in time when we feel the timing is right.
Okay, yeah. I think NFTs will be important to have in a wallet as well. But we also know the challenges of integrating wallets with our team. So at LCX Exchange, we just recently, last week, announced Cardano. So this was a longer period of development time, and we're actually running now 2 nodes on the system. And for most of the native blockchains, we're running our own nodes and setting up the system in a very proper way. And some are easier and some take more time. Cardano was certainly more complex. But then we also learn how kind of reliable and quick the platforms are. That's also very interesting to see. So for example, I was super impressed about Celo and Celo Foundation, what they've done, super fast transaction. And so we are learning by doing as well. And I think we announced also our collaboration. So I just shared a screen here.
That's right, we're supporting you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
why?
look at this. So like a year ago, exactly. And then you integrated the LCX utility token. And the overall partnership which we thought about is that we are launching a series of additional tokens, security tokens, tokenized assets, and so on. So, and we believe our target group is also driven by the mass market. So like the movie tokens we are working on, or other kind of mass market tokens. And these need a very simple wallet. And we don't want to be a wallet provider in that sense. So we're very happy to have you on board. Also, with our ambitions, especially going into regulatory space, things take time. And, everybody see the development of Libra and now Diem Foundation. It's a hassle. And but we are very proud of the process so far. So the current status is that after 2 years, we gained these licenses. Finally, or I have to say registrations officially at the Financial Market Authority in Liechtenstein. And we gained not 1 as an exchange, but 8 of them. So we are also a custody provider. We are a token holder. We are a price service provider. We are identity service provider. And we are also a token issuer. And with our role as a token issuer, we are now launching several projects. And our community knows, so in 7 days, we launched the full white paper of Tiamonds, which is our tokenized diamonds project. And with that, there comes also a new token, which is called TIA, which is a deflationary token where we wanted to build something where the crypto community can be excited about, where the overall design of the tokenomics will trigger kind of a gamified approach to the market, and we hopefully will gain some traction around there while talking about tokenized assets. Because if, like, the beginnings also of CryptoKitties, when they came out, nobody knew what an NFT is. And I think that's where we are also with tokenized assets. It's still a long way to go, but eventually all financial products will be represented in a token someday, and they will be all available, or most of them available at ZenGo, hopefully.
Yeah, actually, you were asking what will enable, how crypto wallet will enable. It's like not so much the crypto wallet. I mean, the crypto wallet, as long as you solve the problem of key management, security, and customer operation, you're solving a big infrastructure problem. But the reality is that what drives the adoption is the assets themselves and the utility behind them. And so the more you're going to go deep into the real world, the real economy, things that speak to user, things that are related to things that they can use, like, for example, Chili's with fan tokens, and Dapper Labs with what they do, and the sports team, and So Rare, and what you're doing with tokenized assets, and BitClout with social network, which people understand, and not so much technical financial stuff, which is too complicated for most people. Then the more people will get urgent interest into it, because they will feel that it will be way easier to do the things they do every day. Speculation is not an everyday thing for many people, So I think this is a good direction to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a good question in regards to this from Ike here. It says, will it be possible to buy and sell LCX token through your app in the future? And what factors do you have to determine whether a cryptocurrency can be sold or bought through your app?
So we enable selling and buying through trading partners, and if our trading partners list those tokens, which usually have to be listed in reputable liquidity providers or exchanges, then it will be available automatically in ZenGo. So right now, I think all our partners combined support, I would say, probably 40 to 50 assets that are available for buying, selling, or swapping. So if LCX was available through one of them, because we are already supporting it in ZenGo for sending and receiving, then it would be automatically supported for buying and for exchanging. So I guess the next question is, like, how can we make it happen? Or we have to connect you with our trading partners, because we don't operate directly, because we are non-custodial, we don't operate directly a trading facility.
Okay, so, and you can't imagine what happened in the last couple of weeks, because we had been also talking about you, and basically we had been speaking with one of your partners, or I think one of the key partners, and I can already tell the community we are working on this. So it's not fully fixed, but hopefully we can do an announcement next week already. So that's what we want, that LCX is available to buy and sell at ZenGo directly, and there are some talks ongoing. But it was really funny, a coincidence, I would say, because they approached us and said, like, do you want to partner with us? And then ZenGo was mentioned there as well. So that's great, yeah.
Any other question from the audience?
Yes, here from Claudio. Good morning, Ouriel. Okay, so it must be US. Will ZenGo implement a DEX on the wallet?
Yeah, first, congratulations on writing and spelling my name correctly, which is a good thing already. DEX, it's planned, Claudio. We plan to integrate it, but as usual, we think that our non-custodial, we are, and I think you're related to that, Monty, we take our time. Things in crypto are extremely complicated. They're way more complicated than you see. There's a reason why there are so many hacks and so many money lost, is because this is really, 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 really hard to do it right. And so we take our time, we do it with great care, and but it will happen. And when it happens, it will be really right and will be really good. I know many people are going fast and doing it already. We don't mind being last, but we will do it.
Yes, I think the consistency is very important, and that's what a lot of people forget. Last Wednesday, I had the CEO and founder of ICANN Foundation here in the show with Min Kim, and he also pointed out that it's very important to be there in the market, to survive, to build something constantly, And eventually, like if ZenGo will be there in 5 to 10 years, then you will be one of the key players, that's for sure.
I hope.
But like, you know, a lot of the competitors, they just got hacked and they have problems with the team, like all the startup problems, plus the security tokens, security problems coming on top. So I think in that regard, taking it slowly is important because all the users are trusting you also.
Yeah, and in crypto, you can't do like Mark Zuckerberg, move fast and break things. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to move. You have to move slow and keep things. I just made up this expression, but it's really, really important to guarantee the safety, the integrity, and it's already hard enough. And this space is so complex. People think that you can add just an asset by putting an icon, a name, and the balance, and that's it, and it's done with like a database. But adding a blockchain is such a huge effort when you are a wallet. It's months of work, of security research, of development, of security testing, of QA, of sending and receiving before you put it out there. And the more you grow, the more you have to be careful. So, so for us, rushing is not a priority.
Let's take another question here from Benjamin, who's asking, will lending be available on or for your platforms for supported tokens?
So, so we already support it. You can already put certain tokens and certain assets in lending and earn APY on it. So it's available today. We launched lending on Bitcoin with 4% APY, no limit, no KYC, instantly deposited, withdrawn at any time. We offer even once free withdrawal per month, no fee. So it's available, but you can also deposit there some ERC20 through Compound. We only selected those that provide a good APY, not the other that provide low APY. And so it's available, and we're going to enrich that offer with more assets very soon. We also offer staking. I see someone asked about staking.
Yeah.
It's in the same section, so you can stake Tezos today. And you can even choose your own baker. So you have a custom baker there, which is an advanced mode, but it's popular, so we put it there. And that's it. So without doing anything, you can earn and control completely your funds on ZenGo, and it's a nice way to have passive revenues, especially in those times of bear market.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, let's take another one here from Adi, who is asking, will ZenGo have a browser at any point so you can connect your wallet to sites?
We're thinking about it. Yeah, we're thinking about it seriously. So what we keep hearing is people actually hate MetaMask. It's popular, it's used, but people don't love it. And for a reason, it's extremely complex and unpleasant to use, and very cold as a program. It does the job. Once you understand how it works, it's fine, but it's definitely too much for most people. And so we hear the market is asking for more. Again, here we're going to take our time. We are looking into this. We know this is a need. We know this is a pain. We know this is a need that is served today by one or two players, but that the market doesn't like it. And we want to look at this opportunity, but we will do it in due time. We right now focus exclusively on the software wallet. We don't do extensions. We don't do hardware. We don't think hardware is necessary. The hardware is your phone. You just need good security on it and good protection and good safety. But extension, we might want to get to it. Now, to be clear, also, there is way more people with mobile phones than people with computers around the world. The numbers are in billions versus hundreds of millions. So the choice is very easy to make. You won't find people who require MetaMask or a computer extension in El Salvador, or in Peru, or in Chile, or in Nigeria. Right? Yeah. People have a mobile phone, and so this is the priority for us.
And then, like, in addition to that, I mean, the core of using Uniswap is you connecting to another non-custodial wallet, like your Ledger or your MetaMask or something like that.
Yes.
So that question was in that regard. But I mean, you decided to integrate, I think, a centralized exchange partner on your app. So why didn't you integrate Uniswap right away, or is that something which is not possible from your architecture.
No, it's completely possible. It's just a matter of choice. We are our number one asset on ZenGo is Bitcoin, and so if you're a Bitcoin first wallet, going on a decentralized exchange makes no sense, because you cannot swap the principal asset of your wallet. So we started with what made sense in terms of servicing our existing customer base. But now that we see that Ethereum and tokens are getting a greater usage, we're going to include DX. And you don't need for that a browser extension. You can do it natively into the wallet really well. And so on the mobile phone. So we will do it. It's planned. It will happen in due time. Right now, our priority is to make sure that we serve really well Bitcoin first audience everywhere in the world. And so there are improvements that are coming. Right now, we're not servicing the United States for swapping because there are strong regulatory constraints. Once we have addressed that, and it will be addressed in the next coming weeks, we will move to DX.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I think from our perspective, we launched DeFi.LCX.com, which is called Fire Salamander or LCX DeFi Terminal, which where we launched limit orders for Uniswap, and then also have a very nice markets page where you can go through all the different markets. Like, it's super fast, and then you have all the nice data, trading view, and so on. And
nice.
The community knows that this had been very successful, especially with the limit order functionality. But we are now launching a second version of it, and this will go in direction of aggregation across multiple DEXs, and also making sure that the user always gets the best price, but also keeping the simplicity in mind, because with using a DEX, people just want to swap, but they want to get the best price, and they don't really care if it's SushiSwap or Uniswap. And so that's actually something where we have to probably do a follow-up call if once you have clarity on your on the legal status for the US. Maybe there's a way that we can support as well. Then, sorry.
Could be, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't started to look into it seriously yet.
Yeah, because like with our system, currently it's only possible to connect to MetaMask, but eventually there's more coming. So for everybody who has a ZenGo wallet, might be, I mean, the most fascinating thing there would be really this like low-hanging fruit is, why do I have to go to the browser and connect to any non-custodial wallet? Why can't I just use it within ZenGo?
Yeah.
And going like, okay, swap. And then it's like execute, pay a gas fee.
Absolutely. It's just a question of...
Yeah, add liquidity, for example, like also like putting my Ethereum to work and put it into an LCX Ethereum pair. That would be great.
Yeah, that's just a question of order and priorities. Right now, we have been busy with what we thought were the most important things to serve our existing customer base. But you have some great wallets out there that are already doing that on the mobile. They're doing okay. Most of the time, they are Ethereum only wallets.
Okay.
And like I said, we're not an only wallet. We are trying to be agnostic and service as a remote control to the user. We will get to it, and once we get to it, it will be good, and maybe we can partner on that. But right now, we haven't been able to find the bandwidth for it because there was so much to do before.
That's right. Yeah. One more question here from Claudio: can ZenGo software be implemented on a hardware wallet?
No, because the hardware wallet basically has no, at least not on the hardware wallet alone, right? It can be used maybe as a cosigner of a transaction.
Yeah.
So right now, when you use ZenGo and you're making a transaction, what happens is that the owner of the wallet, the user, is the only person that is capable of making a transaction. No one else can do it, not even us. We cannot start transactions for them. But once the transaction is sent, ZenGo cosigns it. Now, what we could support is additional cosigners to increase the safety and the security of transaction. This is something that we totally plan to do. What you cannot do is to use a hardware wallet, a standalone device that would operate in the same way, meaning the same type of onboarding, the same type of safety, the same type of distributed security, and the same type of unique multi-party computation infrastructure. That is not possible. Why? Because a hardware wallet is basically a stick with not enough capabilities. It would have to be a microcomputer. And if that's a microcomputer, well, that's your phone, right? Then you don't need a hardware wallet. So right now you can't do that. A hardware wallet is great as a cosigner device. I think it's servicing some type of audience who really cares of absolute control, absolute privacy. I think this is a tiny fringe of what the world will want to use, because it's way too complex. You need to have a cable and you have small buttons and stuff like that. Maybe it will improve in user experience, but still having a second device on top of your phone when you want to go, it's absolutely inconvenient. And quite frankly, depending on a seed phrase or private key is extremely intimidating and extremely worrying, especially when you have a lot of money on it. And so we believe that those systems will serve certain type of audiences, but we don't think we will ever be comparable. We're addressing a different type of audience, different type of needs.
Okay. And so now, Ouirel, imagine you would be sitting out in the terrace and the patio of the Rosewood Hotel on Central Road in Silicon Valley next to your VCs, and they would ask you, what's your roadmap? And imagine nobody's listening, so I think you can talk freely and tell us what's on your roadmap.
So what's on our roadmap? So let's start about what's coming in the coming days, because this I have no problem disclosing. We're launching this week the support for Dogecoin, and we're launching what we think is a little game-changing user experience for sending transactions. You know, when you send a transaction, it's game over. You cannot recall it. And also we're launching the ability to cancel a transaction that has been sent, so that if you've made a mistake or you don't want to send it anymore, you sent the wrong amount to the wrong address, whatever, you just press one button. This technology exists. It exists in many wallets, but it's extremely complicated to use. It's called RBF, but we've made it dead easy, super simple to use, one tap. You can also do the opposite. If you send a transaction, you want it to arrive it much faster because the network is saturated. It's a critical trade on LCX and you need to arrive it really fast. You can speed up the transaction. So we're launching those three things this week: Doge, cancel transactions, speed up transactions. It's a really improving the safety of the transaction experience. In terms of what's coming this year, so I can tell you there is a new user interface, significantly better, clearer, crisper. And you know we care about those things that is coming up, very important. The card, we talked about, it is coming up. Way more assets. We're going to support way more chains, way more tokens, better exchange capabilities everywhere in the world. And I think this will be probably the agenda for 2021. For 2022, there are a lot of surprises, things that are really game-changing in security and in trading capabilities that will put us in a completely different ball game, because right now ZenGo is still doing more or less what every other wallet is doing, which is sending, buying, selling, or more or less in the same way, kind of same fees. There's no revolution there, but there are really change that will change the game and the rule of the game coming up next year. This I cannot announce, but I can tell you that it's going to be big. And that's it.
Okay, yeah, sounds exciting, especially the RFP technology where you can reverse
RBF.
It's called so
request by fee. We have not invented that. This has been in the code for forever. It's just extremely complex to use it with a hardware wallet or with whatever.
Is that a time period we can do it, like within 20 seconds to recall that, or is it indefinitely, or like what's the?
Yeah, you have to do it before the first confirmation. So if the first confirmation is an hour or a day, this is what you have. If the first confirmation is 1 minute, you have 1 minute. But very often you realize very quickly you've made the mistake. And so you can do, and it will be available both on Bitcoin and on Ethereum and any RC20, so including yours. So it's really a wide range of assets. Some wallets offer it in a complex way, certainly for certain assets alone, Bitcoin only, Ethereum only. So this time is like a remote control aspect. One tap, done.
Okay. Excellent. And now I'd like to wrap up this exciting LCX Insights Live. Can you tell us what are the 3 most important trends for the industry which impact ZenGo's development?
Well, of course, we are impacted by the number of new users coming to the industry, right? So if there is no new entrants to the industry, the reason of existing of ZenGo, which is all about servicing newcomers, beginners, people who value convenience, who are intimidating by all the crypto jargon and the solutions in the market, it will be a problem. So for us, the macro factor of adoption really matters, and for that to happen, there needs to be favorable ecosystem. The favorable ecosystem means that there is an urgent need of an alternative financial system. The urgency is defined by the fact that there either is a crisis or the system is not working well enough, which kind of now is the case, but it's been decelerated because of what I call the Elon effect, right? It's been like amplified way too much beyond what it needed, and right now we're kind of being vaccinated by it, but it will come back. The number one, need to have like adoption beyond the hype of what can happen at Twitter of one single person. Mm-hmm. Right now we're going through the vaccination phase. The number 2 thing that we need is we need way more utility beyond the speculation, right? Way more utility beyond the speculation. So assets that resonates with people, that make them understand immediately without explanation why they need something, right? So I think NFT are a great premise of that. Sports and fan tokens, crypto social networks like Rally and BitClout and other forms of crypto social network. Those are very important, and I think they will drive the adoption way beyond the phase of speculation. And number 3 is the regulatory environment. There is an urgent need for the regulator to finally let the world understand what those crypto assets can be considered for and can be accepted for. Right now, there is still an enormous bottleneck with banks. Banks right now are responsible for at least 50% of the rejection of every single crypto transaction in the world, which is a complete nightmare for any company like ours on exchange. Meaning that even if a transaction is completely legit, it's completely fine, KYC, everything, the bank will reject it. Why? Because they have to manage the area of risk, and the area of risk is defined by the capacity of the regulator to embrace this risk. So right now, this is not a job that is done well. There is more blurry lines than clear lines. And if you want to have a license in the US, you can be only licensed if you are a custodian operation. It's extremely expensive, it's extremely onerous, and it basically ignores 99% of the industry, which is non-custodial. So this is a terrible shame, and that has to change. It has also a weight on the shoulders of entrepreneurs who have difficulties getting a bank account, explaining to their banks what they're doing, why they should have their bank account in a bank, and that why they operate in crypto and why it's safe to do that. So this is a really this is urgent, and the problem is that it's really moving really slow and not at the same speed in all countries. So this is, I would say, the third factor that could change the dynamic of the industry.
Okay, so let me summarize here. You mentioned last year the regulatory environment, which is important, the whole compliance and regulatory license environment globally, especially in the US. You mentioned utility of the tokens, like beyond speculation, and the first thing, what did you say?
The first thing was just the fact that the adoption.
Right.
Yeah, the adoption, but the adoption in the sense that we need to have this adoption, but without particular fake factors. Okay. So right now we are vaccinated against the elements factor, which has been an enormous accelerator, but also it's been creating a lot of damage, especially when it stopped. Okay. Again, for the wrong reasons, saying a lot of things that were extremely inaccurate, extremely unthought, extremely unarticulate, which is surprising for a rocket scientist. And that has been doing a lot of damages and it's been snowballing in all sorts of bad decisions from people who are looking up to him. So I think we need to go past that. and recover from that. And I believe we are in the kind of near bottom through that cycle, and so that we can adopt again. And what's going on in El Salvador, in South America, in Paraguay, in Nigeria, in I think soon Lebanon and Turkey will be much healthier trends of adoption that are based on fundamentals and not on basically not on Twitter.
That's right. Yeah. So I couldn't agree more on these points. Very, very important. And eventually all of them together might lead to larger adoption, because if utility is bigger, adoption will come. And then what we are trying to do is not to follow to set up every rule and think about like a traditional organization, but rather work with the regulators and try to innovate and push the limits there a little bit and say like what is important to change, because we can't solve kind of the current challenges with the past legislation and the past compliance solutions. So they have to think different in a way, and then we can move that forward. And especially with non-custodial wallets, I think there's so much unknown where like the regulators don't really fully understand the technology and what's going on. And one last mention to that, because we had been just last week or the previous week, we had been invited to a working group in Liechtenstein, where also somebody from the ESMA, the European regulator, was part of it, where we talked about DeFi and non-custodial wallets and how to regulate it. So it's already a big topic for them, but there are many, many open questions. So,
and you know, what we need is a very simple thing. We don't want to be not regulated, or we just want to have clarity so that we can finally go to ad networks like Facebook and Google and Twitter that refuse company like us and many protocols non-custodial to advertise on the system. They just shut the door completely while their CEO is promoting crypto and non-custodial, which is completely ridiculous. We need that so that we can go to banks and ask them to stop rejecting legit transactions that are completely KYC and AML, so entrepreneurs have their bank account, etc., and end up this merry-go-round of ridiculous circus of Kafkaesque situation. So this needs to end, and it's very, very easy. You just need to spend time on it, talk to industry players, understand what are the risks, circumvent that, give some safeguards, create a safe harbor kind of zone so entrepreneurs can experiment safely, and publish that and make it known.
Absolutely, yeah. I think good closing words. Ouirel, it was a pleasure having you here on this show. Thank you for spending your evening here with us, and onwards and upwards.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
This is LCX Insights Live. For more insights, please visit lcx.com/insights and follow us on Twitter @LCX. Onwards and upwards.